Kenneth Weissmantle.
Got pictures.
As the 113th Boston Marathon begins at Hopkinton Square, a man stands with a gun in his hand. Actually, it's a statue that is getting as much attention this year as the race. The statue is of George V. Brown, a Hopkinton native who a century ago fired the pistol to start the Boston Marathon. His statue has recently been placed on the starting line thanks to those such as Tim Kilduff, president of the Hopkinton Athletic Association.
Those of us in Hopkinton who are associated with the race take the stewardship of the start of the Boston Marathon very seriously. And, and sort of in our off hours, we were interested in doing background research. And one of the things that became evident is the prominence of the Brown family, not just in the Boston Marathon, but New England sports.
That Brown family legacy began with George Brown, who, besides being the starter for the Boston Marathon, also wore many other hats. He was manager and assistant track coach in the Olympics from 1904 to 1936, the first original athletic director at Boston University, and was GM of the original Boston Garden in 1934. And that's just for starters.
To have that person, that kind of person, with that experience, having been born in Hopkinton and raised here, and having raised his family here, it's a big deal, and we're very proud of that.
To solidify this legacy, Kilduff turned to sculptor Michael Alfano, another Hopkinton native.
Well, I didn't actually know anything about him. In reading some of the marathon books, his name came up quite often until we really started doing the research and, figured out, oh, he's in this picture here and he's on the start line here and, he's shaking this person's hand. So, as we found this stuff out, it just became much more compelling.
Through this research, Alfano and others found that Brown's legacy hasn't been completely forgotten. In fact, since Brown's death in 1937, his descendants have continued his tradition of firing the starting pistol. This year, grandson Walter Brown did the honors.
25,000 people crossed the start line on Patriots Day, and a couple of years ago, probably not a one of them knew who George Brown was. And so in bringing this history alive, we're really adding to the depth and the strength of the event, making it, as well as a sporting event, also a cultural event.
The spirit of the Boston Marathon hasn't changed. Thanks to the memorial of George V. Brown, the marathon's legacy is set in stone. Or bronze. From Hopkinton, I'm Dan Burke for Sports Night.